I've always got to remember to actually turn the microphone on. Let's try this again. Technical difficulties. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Hurricane Watching Machine with your latest update on the tropics. So let's get right into Tropical Cyclone Batsirai. Batsirai. Can never pronounce the name of it. Batsirai. Whatever. Right now it's got winds of about 100 knots, about 115 miles per hour. As you can see right here, the air pressure is at 957 millibars. Its first peak was at 948. So it is peaking a little bit. I do expect this to probably come down maybe 90, down to 90 knots, maybe as low as 80 to 85 knots. Depends on how much the shear takes on it on. You can already see a little bit of the convection is being a little bit pushed off to the west a little bit of the center circulation. And I think that as this continues to happen, we're going to see this more and more. I did not mean to mess up my stream. But, you know, that's how things work. It was indeed an accident, but, you know, we all make mistakes. So you can kind of see over here. It's a little bit better. You look over here, you can see the convection blowing up and then being pushed off to the west. So there is indeed some wind shear affecting this, which tells me that, okay, there's wind shear affecting it, which makes sense to why the storm isn't rapidly intensifying. Well, it's not going to. So I get to this wind shear, and then I think we could see the storm intensify a little bit better and a little bit quicker. So here's what I'm talking about. Okay. So as you can see, there is a little bit of shear. So you can kind of see it is going through convection. There's a little pinhole light trying to come out, but just not enough right now for that eye to actually develop and become more visible in the satellite imagery. This shows you the convection there. Much more convection in a tighter area, but again, you can see this convection out here blowing up. You can kind of see being shifted, pushed off to the west there. So there is a little bit of wind shear. It's not huge, it's not massive amount, but there is a little bit of wind shear affecting it. So this right here is going to tell me, so again, we do have, out here we got 35 knots, 50 knots, 65 knot, and 80 knot winds right here. The center circulation's center circulation's actually right here, but you can see if you look out here, you have the 80 knot wind field out there. So that's where you're going to have some of your really strong wind, much stronger winds of 80 knots. I think it's about 90 to 90, close to 100 miles. I think that's like 90 miles. I might be on. No, that's probably 90 miles per hour right there. Taking a look here at the model data. I have an idea of what are we looking at here. I want to actually look at the last image. So I do want to point out the shear is indeed going to continue to, you can kind of see there's that little spike right there. It's going to move up a little bit more, and then we're going to start to see it come down a little bit, and that's when we're going to see it be a little bit more intense. Again, in terms of sea surface temperatures shouldn't be much of a problem. Anything above 26 degrees centigrade is warm enough. That's about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're at about 28 degrees, so we have pretty warm waters right now. Mid-level humidity will also be an issue. It's also going to go down, as you can see. As it goes down, we're going to see it goes down, the wind shear comes up, wind shear kind of stays there, comes down, and as the wind shear begins to level off, that humidity starts to come up. So I do think that the wind shear and the dry air are playing a factor in its weakening right now. Those two things are going to begin to increase, or no, the humidity will increase and the shear will decrease. And I do think the intensity will rebound a little bit. We could see this storm intensify a little bit more as it approaches Madagascar, and then we could actually see a quick weakening prior to its landfall in Madagascar. And that mainly, to me, shows that the sea surface temperatures quickly just drop off the edge. Some of them are showing that it drops off the edge. Others are showing that there's other factors in there. We're going to have to closely monitor what are we looking at, what are we dealing with here. Right now, there's a million different pages of different, you got humidity, you've got temperature, you got sea surface temperatures. So I do think this storm is going to intensify more. Now, when it makes landfall, there's going to be a lot of flooding in Madagascar from this system. All right, Madagascar flooding is going to be a huge issue and a huge problem. I have no idea what this even is. Oh, this is the error. So this just tells you what are the odds of an error. So longitude error, latitude error. 12-hour forecast, you generally have longitude is the best, but when it comes to latitude, it can be an error. Wait, actually, it's not that bad. So things more towards the center, much better appears. Oh no, hold up, 12 hours. I'm sorry, I thought I can't read. 72 hours. Okay, that makes sense. More. Okay, that makes much more sense. I was kind of confused there. Okay. Sorry, I've been looking at this map trying to figure it out. It's taken me a little bit because, honestly, they're not the easiest maps in the world to understand, if I'm being honest. So if you actually look at the storm synopsis here, this is going to give us an idea of what are we dealing with, what are we looking at here. Possibly, this is the ocean heat content. So as you can see, it is moving out of that ocean heat content. But I do think there's still warm water in the ocean. And one of our biggest problems for this storm is going to be that wind shear and that dry air. I actually want to show you if I remember which one it is. Should be infrared. God, I wish I had. You can see dry air. This pretty much shows wind data. Hold up. Oh, this is the SCAT that you can different ones you can see. I got this one. I don't know if it's 92p. I don't know. Those are really good. Those are the SCATs. Okay, wonderful. So as you can see, we do have some dry air trying to come in, but over here, so dry air is warmer. Wet air is colder. Okay, that's how you have to see this. When you see dry air, temperatures aren't red. They're more of a greenish color. So this over here is all this down here is dry air. But you do have this trying to develop, but there's a lot of dry air out this way. Which I actually want to show you. It's actually very, very important to look at. So water vapor. So look at this. You have all this dry air right in here, a lot of dry air over here, dry air to the north. It's pretty much almost not. Now up here, there's not too much dry air, generally speaking, but to its south and to its southwest, where it's going to be going into an area of where it's generally going to be going, there's a lot more dry air. And this dry air wraps in around that center of circulation. It gets in the center of circulation, the tight center of circulation. It can kill it, choke it out, and the storm will die. Now, I think this is going to try to expand and create a moisture bubble. If it can expand, create a moisture bubble, then it will be protected. But I don't think it's going to be super protected until it expands. And in the times that it's trying to expand and get larger to create a moisture bubble will be the times when it's weakening a little bit. And that is what is happening right now. I can actually show you literal proof that it's weakening. You can actually see where it dipped down to 948 millibars and then went back up to 955 and 957. I'm actually want to slow this down a little bit. Like this. Yeah, I wish I could control what I'm looking at here. So right here you can see it's 957. If you look here, right up here, you'll see the wind speed in knots and the air pressure millibars. So you do see it 968 down to 965, dips down to 948, and quickly rebounds to 955 and 957. And so the wind shear is having a toll on the storm. The wind shear and the dry air is having a bit of a toll on the storm, and I do think that this storm is having some trouble, and we have reached our first peak right now. Let me see 0 to Z if the 0 Z has come out yet. No, should come out here relatively shortly. Still showing this at 95 knots. So this is going to move down here. I want to see what they're saying. I actually want to look at the Joint Typhoon Warning Center and see what they're saying in terms of the reasoning behind why they think it's going to weaken. Get a better idea prior to its landfall. Its weakening reasoning, understanding of why it's going to weaken. My legs hurt. I don't know why. Batsirai. I think that's how you pronounce it. So this is the system here. It doesn't look super great. Here's Mauritius down here. Here's La Reunion down here. Well over to the west here is Madagascar over here. Let's see what they're saying. Dude, I need an explanation. It's graphic. Satellite analysis, initial position, and intensity discussion. Animated multispectral satellite imagery (MSI) shows the system has maintained a compact and fairly symmetrical structure within a deepened central convection and the formation of a 5 nautical mile pinhole eye. So, and then I did create that eye, as I did show you all that earlier today. That lined up well with the microwave eye feature in the image. The halfway point from the last best track position. The initial intensity of 95 knots, up to 100 knots right now, is placed with a medium confidence based on the higher end of agency and animated Dvorak estimates, and reflects the 6-hour convective improvement. Analysis indicates a highly favorable environment with low vertical wind shear, strong radial outflow, and warm sea surface temperatures in the South Indian Ocean. Okay? Current steering mechanism is the northeastern periphery of the subtropical ridge, the STR to the southwest. Which we get a zoomed out version of this. What's my crap here? Actually, I'm going to go to just zoomer so you can see this better. So as you can see here, 120, 125, down to 105. It's like right down here. Forecast reasoning, okay. Significant forecast changes. There are no significant forecast changes. Travel style will continue on its current track under the influence of the STR to the southwest. After TAU 24, the resulting in a southwestern track. Okay, so peak of 110 knots. And vertical wind shear increases and land interaction with the approach to Madagascar begins. So they're saying that as this begins to approach as the storm begins to approach Madagascar, vertical wind shear will increase, which is just strong upper level winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere cutting across the storm. So that's what we're looking at right now. I do want to go and look at the forecast models, have an idea, get an idea. What are we looking at for this entire region? What are we looking at for this area, first of all? We have a better idea of what I'm trying to explain. So there it is. It shows 948. It's actually up to 957 millibars right now. We go in time. You can evidently see it does intensify much quickly. Actually reaches 939 millibars. It interacts with some wind shear. There's some wind shear. God, I can't tell if it's coming in from this direction. I can't tell directly which. I would say it's coming in like this. I would say the wind shear is either coming across like this way or this way. It's very, very hard for me to actually tell just from this future model. But it looks like it makes landfall about 965 to 970 millibars. And it tries to rebound. It looks like it makes a landfall about 977 millibars. So it's not super strong, but certainly going to bring a lot of energy towards Mozambique. While possibly another system behind it begins to develop, and what it does, and like another storm. That's certainly going to be very, very interesting here in the future with what this storm does. So really seeing what I'm, basically what I'm saying is that there's going to be, the wind shear is going to increase and the dry air is going to increase a little bit. Then the wind shear should decrease. And then the wind shear should come back prior to landfall. So the good thing about this is this isn't going to continue to intensify upon landfall. If it had all this water and all this time to get there to make landfall there, it could be really, really bad. Catastrophic, honestly. So with what I'm seeing right now, I'm trying to wait for this to really load. My feet just genuinely hurt right now. 90 knots, 94 knots, 90 knots. Vertical wind shear. Current environment is favorable. We're seeing vertical wind shear 5 to 10 knots. Sea surface temperatures 20 to 29 degrees centigrade. There's strong radial outflow after the sea, because there's different kinds of outflow, I know, and I'm going to have to actually look up the different types of outflow. There's like a radial outflow and so I'm gonna look at that. That's something that I'm looking at. Let's see, weekend by tertiary latitude trough. Alright, so it's weekend. There, the STR. What is the STR? I forgot what the STR is already. Yeah, I know, it's pretty bad. Significant wave height's already up to 40 feet. Jesus. It's pretty big waves. That's the MSI. What's the STR? The subtropical ridge is the STR. Subtropical ridge. So it's basically a ridge in the subtropics, which is like, I want to say 35, between 35 and 40 degrees south, 35 and 40 degrees north. It's in the subtropical region. In that area, I think it's like 32, I don't even know. So it's the subtropical ridge right now, which is subtropical ridge. The ridge. This is a ridge, and then a trough would be like that. This is a ridge. Trough would be like this. I guess. I don't know. I'm still trying to learn, figure everything out. So that's what's causing the weakening, is the subtropical ridge right now. Generally doesn't even matter. These are supposed to go away, but they don't. They used to just go away when you click the X. They don't. So I kind of want y'all to see this. Lots of convection, lots of rising motion in the atmosphere, as you can see. Wait, is that the subtropical ridge? That might be the subtropical ridge pulling it down. I don't know. I'm gonna do some more research on what that is, so I can get a better idea of what is actually causing the storm to weaken. Because I do think there is some wind shear. There's something going on. It's the subtropical ridge. As the Joint Technical Weather Center pointed that out. I'll give more updates on this. It's really not a lot for me to say. So you can see this is going to weaken and it's going to really strengthen, and that's what I'm going to watch for, because that's going to be interesting to see. Really need more people. Talk to my mom's calling me.